Would it help?
Phantom of the Opera?
No, it's Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, that's what I heard.
Speaking of phantoms,
Yeah.
do you want to get to this week's episode of D&D?
Sounds pretty spooky.
I'd love
Fun
to.
save?
Yeah.
I hope we don't have to fight a phantom.
Well, do you remember what happened last week?
No, enlighten us.
Andrew does.
I'm lying.
Andrew does, yeah.
I don't. I forgot.
Well, the reason why I was saying phantoms, in the last couple episodes, actually, it's been a... Well, the last episode specifically, you were splitting up through the refugee camp and also to the...
Oh, yeah.
to the blacksmith to maybe get some equipment upgrades, but also find out some information where you could in regards to how you might get to this island in the Sea of Moving Ice. And also you wanted to check in on the refugees, make sure that everyone was medically being taken care of. Fortunately or unfortunately, you also ran into one of the Skeens who was running the field hospital at the time and had to deal with that, while Carnelian and Wodun they went to the blacksmith to get a few items, and then also on the way back through they stopped by to Bryn Chandra and discovered a few little details about Chandra and his life that sort of throws into a bit of context as to why he has been the way he has been. You also realized you weren't being very careful as you were being noticed going into Chandra's little tent by what could be considered organized crime in Faerun. So, using invisibility spells, like a phantom, you got out of there.
Sick segue.
Long-winded segue.
So that segue came full circle.
We got there in the end. At the end of that episode, you then headed to the House of the Morning Lord and found that Vellynne was already setting up to go with the dogs. What do you want to do?
Trying to think. So we're all together, yes?
You are now, yes.
Okay.
Is this the moment where we're approaching? We were approaching back to the House of the Morning Lord and we noticed that Vellynne was out there prepping the dogs. That's where we're currently at?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, we'll approach Vellynne, I suppose.
You can see as you approach, the sleds have been pulled out. The little kobolds, salt and pepper, sticks and stone.
Kath and Kim.
Kath and Kim.
Chip and Dale.
Milo and Otis. They are getting the dogs ready and the sleds packed. And Vellynne is also out there packing some of her stuff as well to one of the sleds.
Vellynne, you seem to be in a bit of a rush to head off. Have you learned something?
She turns around and then she smiles to you brightly and she says, "Ah, yes, there you are. Well, I figured that you'd want to get underway as soon as possible when you returned."
Well, appreciate the sentiment, but you had no way of knowing how our investigation was progressing, but it seems that your prediction was good because we are almost ready to go.
She sort of chuckles a little and says, "You do know I'm a wizard, right?"
Are you wizards?
That reminds me, we've got some things to ask you from a wizard point of view.
"Oh, really?
Yeah, wizard things that we don't understand.
Well, I wouldn't put it past you not to understand, Wodun. Don't you worry too much. Shall we talk about it on the road, or do you want to talk about it beforehand?"
Well, I think beforehand's preferable on the road to where? I thought we were still in the position of confirming our destination.
Oh, I think you were quite set on finding this whale, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so now you're just eavesdropping on everything, is that correct?
I thought it...
Spying.
Not so much. I thought it prudent to keep an eye on your progress and see how you're going, and make preparations where possible.
That's it. I don't like this. Let's go to the spine. Let's go to the
We're going to Luskin.
Yeah.
For the record, Vellynne, I don't like this.
Maybe, well then, that's how Grumpf is tracking you.
Well, that's what we were going to ask her.
A sneaky wizard.
How these sneaky wizards do their sneaky business.
Well, you can ask those questions. I'm sorry if I offended you.
Sorry, Vellynne, I'll cut you off there. I just think it's very rude that no one has mentioned my brand new shield.
Oh, what a nice shield.
Oh, thanks.
That looks familiar,
no, don't
actually.
Don't waste your breath.
No, it looks like stolen property.
You've already done the damage. I thought it was a great shield, but
It looks like Shander's shield.
He
It is.
didn't steal it.
He threw it at my head, in fact. You might all also notice this bump on my noggin.
No, I didn't look at that. Your hair is in the way.
Oh, now that makes sense.
It was bleeding profusely like 30 minutes ago.
I lost most of my temporary hit points from that.
I haven't had those in a while.
We get them at the start of every day.
I have been attacked today.
Oh my god, that was today.
That was a few.
It was today.
Sorry for not noticing your stolen shield, Wodun.
Well, anyway, Vellynne, let's get out of here.
Absolutely. I'm very sorry if you feel offended that I was keeping tabs on you. I thought it prudent to be as ready as possible if you wanted to go.
Do you trust us?
Yes.
Can I do an insight check?
Sure. Go for it.
16.
You get the sense that she does mean what she says when she says she trusts you. That being said, you get the feeling that maybe while she trusts you, she's not telling you why, but maybe she's being very cautious.
Cautious in terms of the information that she's withholding?
Cautious is in trying to, now that you are all together, trying to just keep tabs on you. It's okay. How should I put this?
Like, is she trusts us, but she's not sure of our competence or something? Is that kind of what you're getting at, or?
She trusts you so far as by your reputation, but she also seems to harbour a certain amount of defensiveness. She's been very forthcoming to you in a lot of things, but she seemed very keen to make sure that, she was going to keep... She seemed keen to keep an eye on you, put it that way.
Okay.
You get the feeling... From the feeling you get is caution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Did you happen to learn anything while we were out?
Well, I didn't happen to learn anything per se more than what you already found out, which is very well done, by the way. However, I did prepare something that was asked of me last time we spoke. Wodun. And she digs her hand in the pocket and retrieves a little gem that when she holds up to the light, you can see it has an eyeball inside of it.
That's disgusting. I love it.
I thought you might. I believe you're using this as a spell component for something.
Yes, that's right.
Well, this little trinket was very pricey. Don't say I didn't do anything for you.
I
And
would
she
never.
gives it to you.
Svieta, he's saying this quietly to Svieta as well. Svieta, I'm not sure if you're ready to talk about it yet, but when you were attacked this morning, I'm not sure if that's something we should ask Vellynne about or leave it for later.
I mean, it's better now than later.
Do you reckon? I'm just curious if she's been watching us. Why didn't she do anything?
That's a good point. She seems to be in a talkative mood right now.
Yeah,
Ask her.
you should ask her.
I'm very terrible at talking.
Oh, okay.
Please?
Hey, Vellynne, what's up with watching us this morning? And Svieta got attacked.
Oh yes, I did see that. Dear, you must have taken quite a shock. Unfortunately, I couldn't see your attacker myself. That's why I could not give any warning. I didn't know you were being stalked.
Why not? You can see everything else.
I can see things physically, yes, but whoever it was using some form of invisibility magic.
Can you do that?
Yes, I could cast invisibility, yes. of
Oh,
course.
actually, Wodun can. Of course, everyone else can.
I think Carnelian can as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Did you get some sort of energy reading on it? Did they seem powerful, or...?
The methods I were using to observe wouldn't really give me that kind of information. Although, taking a look, I think you have been speculating that Gromf himself was following you, maybe, yes?
Well, yeah, we were trying to work that out.
I don't know if that was the case. Gromf doesn't strike me as a person who would personally get his hands dirty like this. And for him, this kind of method doesn't suit him, as far as I'm aware.
That's what I was saying. He's got little weenie wizard arms, and that I know Beefcliff, and he can't handle Beefcliff.
Weenie wizard arms aside, I think that he would use some sort of more arcane approach, maybe. This feels like someone that is been employed or Perhaps someone that has been sent after you, or something. It strikes me as curious that they didn't reveal themselves when they struck Svieta, which would imply a greater invisibility spell, or some other ability which would keep them hidden despite attacking.
Do you suspect maybe an agent of Gromf?
Someone in his employ, surely. Agent, general mercenary, fiend from the deeps that he summoned to himself. I can't say that from what I saw. All I could advise you is that we should be quite careful if whatever it is following us. And I think I will take some precautions in our campsites to generate some alarms, maybe.
Do you have the ability to see invisibility?
See invisibility is not a spell that I have particularly taken myself. I could see if I could find a scroll to use, but I believe it would take a bit of time, at least here in the Dale, to procure. I would normally be somewhere in Baldur's Gate or Waterdeep that would commonly have these items. And that's a bit far away, if you don't mind me saying.
I think we could make a quick trip to Waterdeep. What do you guys think?
How far away is it?
Who cares? Sounds fun. I'm sure the DM's prepped for this.
Waterdeep is like a couple of weeks south.
So well traveled, Carnelian.
No, not at all. I just know things.
Assuming that you do survive the pass, of course, across the spine of the world, it's quite treacherous right now with the winter.
Maybe we should focus on one thing at a time. I would like the winter to end first.
Maybe we can go to Waterdeep after to celebrate.
We can get see invisibility scrolls as much as you like then.
Perhaps, Wodun, because you're part of a guild, the second best guild, would he have hired someone from the first best guild to come after you?
No, he's too proud for that. He would never ask another guild for help.
Well, who would he hire then? If not himself
Well,
attacking?
I'm assuming he would want something. I assume he would want to be involved in some way. He's very, very petty and vain.
Does he have any big thuggish sons, perhaps?
Big thug son.
Does he have any big thug sons?
Big thug.
Asking for a friend.
Sitting single and ready to mingle.
Mingle your face.
Mangle?
Mangle. Sangle and ready to mangle.
What?
I don't know.
Yeah, big thug sons.
I don't know about his thug sons. I would assume not, but I don't really know him that well.
I guess that checks out. If you did know him, you wouldn't have slept with his wife.
Well, I did know him a little bit, probably enough that I shouldn't have done that.
Enough to recognize that he had done something wrong once the beer wore off.
Oh, Carnelian, I wanted to give you this as well, and I'll hand over the Wand of Web to you.
Oh.
I'm sure you'll do much better with this than I will. I'm not that good at the magic.
I mean, you used it alright against the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah? No?
Yeah.
I won't complain.
Has 6 out of 7 charges left.
They come back every day.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Cool.
Before we head off, Horacio, do you have to tell Mishan anything before we go? I think she was quite sad last time we never said goodbye.
Yeah, I'll say my farewells. Vellynne, can you just give me 10 minutes?
Of course. We'll still be preparing here if you want to come back. I assume you all have items that you wish to get from your rooms.
I'll just harness up Otto.
And she turns back to the kobolds and starts directing again and helping packing up the sleds.
I'll just say as well, Wodun walks into the House of the Morning Lord, casts Disguise Self using the Pope Hat, and then immediately come back out the door to throw the decoy off so he doesn't look like himself anymore.
Okay.
He looks like a beautiful blonde woman.
Wearing a Pope hat?
Wearing a Pope hat, yes.
It can be any kind of hat.
Wearing a fancy tiara.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lovely.
He looks like a snow princess.
Oh, very nice.
Nice.
So, walking out of the House of the Morning Lord is this smoking hot blonde bombshell strutting towards your sled.
She's very elegant, thank you. Hey guys, it's me. Don't be alarmed.
I'm a little alarmed. Why do you have Wodun's voice?
Because I'm throwing a decoy. Just in case Gromp's looking or the invisible person's watching. I don't want them to think that I'm leaving with you guys. Maybe it'll trick them or something, I don't know.
Can't you change your voice as well?
Probably can. But I don't know.
Say no more.
I forgot to do that bit.
Okay, well,
Those other bits I was focusing on.
You look very pretty.
Oh, thanks, Svieta.
Probably don't go near Otto, he might bite you.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm just imagining this woman walking out, blonde hair, just elegantly striding up like, hey,
It's me.
I'm essentially imagining like Princess Peach from like the Mario games.
Yeah.
But like a white dress.
Okay.
All white.
So, what's her name from the Mario Galaxy?
Rosalina,
Rosalina. That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe.
superior princess.
So, does anyone else need anything from the House of the Morning Lord? I know Horacio wants to go say.
Just my stuff.
Yep. So other than that, Horatio, you can head in, and if you're looking for Mishan, you do find her at the altar at the very front. It looks like the congregation she had this morning have already filed out, and she's alone. Looks like she's reading a book.
I'll approach her. I suppose you've already heard, Mishan. We're bound for the coast.
I hadn't heard that much per se, but...
Don't they tell you anything? Sorry, I guess it falls to me to inform you.
I figured with the wizard packing up, you would be going soon.
She didn't tell you anything?
I didn't ask.
Still. Well, yes, we are heading out to help. We're heading to the... somewhere.
Somewhere.
I forgot.
The prison?
No.
Don't we need to get the bell to ring the whale bell?
Oh shit, I did write that down.
I'm going to a pier, a dock
Do we have the...
that has the bell.
Has the bell?
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Hopefully no one's stolen it.
You're heading to Angajuk's bell.
Yes.
By the sounds of it.
Yes.
Interesting. Well, I wish you well on your journey.
Thank you, Mishan. Do you have any advice? Do you know this bell or the area around it at all?
Not well. Children's stories about Anjuk himself, traveling the seas of moving ice, but nothing too pertinent, I think, that would be too useful to you. As I said, children's stories. But children's stories always come with a kernel of truth, and you can never be too sure what stories you hear are real and not. As is the case when you hear about the gods, I suppose.
Yes, well, there's a lot of things I didn't believe in, and I'm starting to believe, so I think at the moment a big whale with a bubble on it's a pretty easy pill to swallow.
And she laughs a little at this. I suppose you're right. I think you are better prepared than when I sent you out in the first place. I wish you well. I wish you luck.
Thank you, Mishan. I feel good. I feel strong.
Our paths forward are ever shrouded to ourselves. Each day, the morning light reveals a little more. I feel like your path is now starting to open to you as well. As such, whilst you may not necessarily follow the Morning Lord, I wish his blessing upon you. Try not to die, Horatio. It would make me sad.
I'll do my best.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I'll grab my stuff, and I will head out.
And she watches you leave. By the time you head back out to the sleds, you can see they're pretty much packed and ready to go. There are 2 sleds. Originally there would have been 3, but if I remember correctly, a couple of the dogs died with the encounter with the dragon.
Yep.
So there's only really enough dogs to pull 2 sleds. Now you guys can be on a sled all together. You've done that before. And it looks like Vellynne has to leave some of her stuff behind to be able to go onto a single sled. But she's ready there with sticks and stone. All ready to go?
Yes, good to go. Did you guys get all your stuff?
Yup.
Yes!
Oh.
It's me.
Oh. Okay, save me a question.
Just gonna say really loudly, "Oh, now that really handsome man's gone, I guess there's room for me in the sled. Will you please escort me out of town, everybody?"
Horatio thinks he's cotton on to what's going on, so he'll very loudly say, certainly, milady, please,
You are too
aboard.
kind.
What is your name, milady?
Yes. What is your name?
It's Brenda.
Brenda.
Yes,
A pleasure.
just Brenda.
Surely a fine, noble lady such as yourself comes from a distinguished background.
It's Brenda.
A house, one would say.
Yes.
Brenda Wallingdale.
That was going to be something Cliff.
Brenda Wallingdale.
Why, Lady
Wallingdale.
Wallingdale.
Yes.
It's amazing to have you with us on this journey. I can see this will be very interesting already.
Yes, I think it will. Let's get out of here. Away!
Just that. And you all pile onto the sleds and begin to move. Now, so that you guys know, and I think you do know this already, the magic that was affecting the dogs previously with the Longstrider spell has worn off. So you're now moving at a normal pace.
Mm-hmm.
With that, it's probably going to be a few days travel out to the Sea of Moving Ice. You would have a day to get to Targos and probably to Bremen, which will be as far as the road will take you. Beyond that, you'll be heading straight out into the wilds of Icewind Dale once again. I will move us to the map of Icewind Dale.
Just like old times.
And why don't I also reveal where you are going?
Please.
Black cabin. Clack babbin.
So, it's going to take you a few days to move over the wilds of Icewind Dale to get to your destination, which you've discovered is along the Sea of Moving Ice, and roughly where it is based on some of the tales which you've read about and talked about. Now, on the way, it sounds like Svieta might have had a question then for... Your sleds are close enough that you can talk if you want, or you could bring Vellynne into the network, the Wi-Fi network if you want.
No, she's already invasive enough.
Right, fair enough.
Wizard. Forgot her name. Vellynne!
Yes, dear? She calls over the whipping wind as you're moving out of Bryn Chandler and heading towards Targos on the road.
Can't you cast that fancy spell to get us there faster?
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. I could really only do that in an emergency. It consumes some spell scrolls, you see. I don't have it on my spell list, as it were. It also costs quite a number of expensive materials. I did deem it an emergency, though, to send you on your way in the first place, but now I think we are okay to use conventional means.
That was a lot of words. Sure.
I'm very verbose.
Verbose Vellynne.
I don't ever want to deal with Gromf if this is how a nice wizard treats us.
Wizards generally are.
Shut up.
That's okay. See, the thing about Grumph is we don't actually have to listen to him. We can just shoot him with a crossbow.
Actually, I will admit Vellynne's been quite good to us. I shouldn't be so rude to her. But I really wish she had a spell like that.
I think the reason you shouldn't be rude to her is because she could turn you into a new.
That would be great, and I'll just transform back out of that. I like newts.
Newts are alright. I don't imagine we get them this far north, though.
We used to. And then the winter happened.
I love newts. Send newts, please.
Who are you talking to?
What?
Are you okay, Horacio?
Yes.
Quick scan his brain, make sure he isn't cursed.
Leave me.
Leave me and my thoughts of newts.
I don't want to delve deeper into that.
Probably best you stay out of my mind.
I will. I will only delve deeper if I have to. I don't want to think about you and newts.
Yes. Just go back to staring into space.
I know you can read my thoughts better.
I choose not to read your thoughts. Cat network. Although I am a fan sometimes. Not all the time.
It's nice to listen to go to sleep. White noise.
Yeah.
Meow, 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 meow.
Speaking of the, before the snow, Svieta,
Mm.
what was it like before Ariel ruined this whole area?
It was very green. There was still snow. It was quite lovely, like a big forest land. Large fields of green. It was nice.
I can imagine. I mean, that one place that we went to by the lake was really nice. Was it kind of like that?
Place by the lake? Oh, in Lonelywood?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Hang on, I forgot about that. Tourmaline. Actually, yeah, that was pretty much close to what it was. Like, you could see the sun, everything was lush. I miss those days. I imagine that's probably not what Luskin is like.
No, it's very warm there. Probably. I don't know, is it?
Comparatively.
I'm sure it would be.
So, okay.
It's like a port town, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Pretty far north, though.
Yeah,
I imagine it's like the Gold Coast. but-
Luskin is the last major port town before you leave the Sword Coast. So
it's pretty far north. It's actually cold and windy, like a cold, windy port. The Icewind Dale, which Svieta is correct, in the winter it's very much like it is now because it snows heavily here. But in the summer you do get those sort of long rolling fields and all the green forest. But Luskin itself think of it as a windy coast city that's generally cold and wet most of the time.
it's Scotland.
Yeah, it's kind of Scotland.
Okay, I was also thinking the Gold Coast, so...
That's more water deep.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh,
I guess with the dragon and everything and how well we've been going, I kind of lost sight for a minute of why we actually formed this team and to save the people of the 10 towns, and I probably feel responsible for that a little bit, distracting us from the task at hand. So apologies, everyone. I need to calm it down a bit.
Don't see how you've been a distraction. You've been nothing but helpful.
Oh, I mean, just my general liking to party in the towns that we go to and, enjoying the spotlight that we're currently getting.
But I think spreading that kind of cheer through the towns that have been so depressed for the last 2 years, it's not a bad thing. It's not something that I think any of us could do. Maybe Carnelian with his fiddle.
It's great on that fiddle.
It is a fiddle, right?
It's
at one point it was a fiddle.
it has been a fiddle. It's also been a viol
And then a violin.
and then a violin.
Don't feel bad about the partying. It's been great. Especially when we met that tiefling who gave us the fancy drinks.
That was a big night. So, how come you decided to come along with us, Svieta? Is it... I've been thinking about this a little bit recently, and I think you mentioned before that your parents were given as sacrifices to Ariel. Are you here for vengeance? Is that why you're joining us? Are you trying to kill Ariel, or...
Well, sort of. Regarding the first part of your question, I don't think I had much of a choice when you came into the bar and offered Carnelian nuts. It was kind of just you brought us all together and we didn't really have a choice. But to be honest, I was quite glad someone asked me, because yes, I do want to kill Auriel, if I'm capable. It was more so the people of East Haven chose my parents to sacrifice. So I'm mad at the city, but they only did it because they had to.
Did they have to, though?
I don't think so. It was the first and last time I ever spent in the big city, and I don't see why they couldn't just all sacrifice their heat rather than a person.
Seems like a stupid way to handle being oppressed by a tyrant like Auriel.
But no one's been strong enough to stand up to her until you came. Like, just out of nowhere, and just wanted to end the winter like it was another Tuesday. Tuesdays exist, right?
Sure.
Alright.
The fantasy equivalent of Tuesday exists.
Alright.
And what were your parents like?
They were also shifters. Much more cat-like than me. Like, my father was very fluffy and grey and striped, and the mother was white and spotted. And we came up from past the spine. I'm not sure where, though. I was quite young. But they were coming here to be traders, from what I recall. And they brought me to East Haven for the very first time, and then they got caught in the sacrifices because we forgot what day it was. And then they were taken out. Both of them. I think father was likely killed and mother was sacrificed.
That's horrific.
Mm.
I'm sorry you went through that.
No, it is the way it is in the 10 towns, but that's why I don't really like sharing who I am there, because they might hold me hostage for the next sacrifice, because they choose those that are different and lesser, like kobolds and like shifters and other forms that are not as noble as elves and humans.
Well, I think we're pretty safe now. I'd like to see them try and sacrifice one of us. Come on, heroes of the 10 towns.
I doubt they would, even if we were in the cities for the sacrifice. And I think we could just beat them all up, to be honest.
I think so, yeah.
I'm laughing thinking back that my biggest fear was cults and cultists. But then they just seem like small chips in comparison of what we're facing now.
Well, think about it. Like, the dragon was going to destroy the 10 towns. We destroyed the dragon. So, like, if you think about it like that, we could totally destroy the 10 towns. If we wanted to.
Brother, we didn't.
I didn't say we did.
I know.
I'm just saying that, like, hypothetically.
As a matter of logic, I see your point, but it's yeah.
The leap to that was quite daunting.
Quick math.
I think you've got that tier going with the dragon, and then Auriel is like a god who's way up, much higher than a dragon. I don't really suspect that we can defeat her with just the 4 of us.
Well, I don't think we need to, like, fight her directly. We just need to find a way to break her influence on this part of the world. Because, like...
It's not just 4 of us, Svieta.
There's more?
Yeah, we have a bunch of animals.
No, not the bloody animals. Callan, he's with us. He's with me. And I dare say he may be with you.
Hope so. He's becoming quite the ally to have.
I mean, a wizard also told us about a machine that can control the weather, which normally I'd be skeptical on, but then we found a miniature version that did basically that, so...
Which wizard was this? Was this Vellynne or
yes,
the...
Vellynne.
Oh. Sorry.
You look over and she's just like singing to herself.
That's why we're... Do you remember why we're going to this island in the Sea of Moving Ice?
I do remember, I just didn't understand why you were being so coy about which wizard told us this.
I don't remember.
It's to get artifacts to go a hairy book and
Oh, yes,
to
I remember
melt-
something.
Fluffy book.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, I just want to show Oriel who's boss, right?
It was to melt the glaciers.
Yeah, we want to crack open a glacier to
Crack it
find
black.
an ancient magic. To find an ancient magical city underneath, in which we can find some sort of artifact that can control the weather.
What an odd place to put such a thing.
I mean, it was in the sky, and it fell down when a magical catastrophe happened. So they didn't put it there; it fell there, and then thousands of years of glacier happened. I'm not sure what the verb is there.
Glacing?
Glacing.
A very, very, very slow avalanche.
Heavily glazed.
Very gradual avalanche.
Glaciers be glacing.
And then I liked it when they glazed all over the place.
Totally glazed all over that guy.
Well,
Oh,
that was an interesting lesson. Thank you, Carnelian.
well, we were going to, yes, get the device that will potentially get an artifact that can alter the weather, but weren't we also looking at a means to actually gain access to Oriel as well? Doesn't she have like a lair over in the east somewhere?
No, she'd have like a realm in the heavens, like, or maybe in the hells if she's an evil god. But I don't think we are going there to fight her. I think we are going to be contesting her in like in the meat space.
Mood space.
The prime material.
I do prefer the meat space, but I am learning more about the other spaces, and well, let's just see what happens, shall we?
Beautiful.
The meat space is where you get the meat birds from.
Oh, like
You need
this.
a crash course on the cosmology of the Forgotten Realms. The space we're in right now is called the meat space, because that's where all the meat is.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Neither do I anymore. So, I'm just going to say, as you guys are talking about this, you do approach Targos. Now, to go through from here, Vellynne shouts out and informs you that you're going to need to make a turn off towards Bremen on a very little used trail. It's marked on your map, but the endless winter and having much fewer travelers has all but obliterated the trail markers themselves. So it's a little bit slower going, but until you get to Bremen, this is it.
That's fine.
I mean, after Bremen, it's all off-road, so...
Yeah,
Go track better than no track.
it's alright. We're off-roading. It's a good practice for the creatures. I can't say dogs because there's like a ferret among them.
Don't want to offend the ferret.
Yeah.
And Nono.
He's not a ferret.
Sorry, a martin.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a ferret.
Ferret.
It's a martin.
He eats pain chocolat for dinners. Well, thank you for asking that. I do have a question. You mentioned your father. Do you have, of course you would have a mother, but do you have siblings at all?
Yes. Well, it's me, my mother, and my father, and my brother, Alden.
Alden?
Alden, my brother. Yes, he's younger.
How much younger?
It's a couple of years, 4 years.
Is he, also Asimir? I called you a human the other day. I'm very sorry for that.
I didn't even notice.
That's okay. But it's Asimir, right?
Yes,
Angel.
technically yes, but I mean, I consider myself a human, just a really good one.
Spoken like a true Asimir. I consider myself a human, just a good one.
Is he also angel human?
So I'm sitting talking to you in like this quite tight sort of like long white silky dress. Yes, I'm sure he has some Asimir bloodline from my mother's side. But I mean, my father was a human, so I guess who's to say how much Asimar he is compared to human, and myself as well, even.
So, wait, so your mother and father were both Asimir?
No, just my mother.
Like, whole Asimir?
Yeah,
Or like a half one like you?
Yeah, she had the Asimir bloodline, but my father was just a human, so...
Could your father be in cahoots with Gromp?
No. I don't think my father would probably bother with me too much these days.
Is he dead?
Oh, who knows? Could be. Probably with all the shit that he was into, but who cares, right?
I will press on that then. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of my family in many years, actually. It wasn't too long out of university that I joined the guild, and kind of just moved out of home, moved into like a share house, and was, I don't know, I kind of...
You borrowed the house?
Yeah, borrowed it. I was paying weekly to borrow a house, and yeah, I got pretty deep in the adventuring life. It was what the cool kids were doing. I was like okay at it, I guess, and kind of just got wrapped up in that, and here I am.
So, this university, I assume that's something that Horacio would have done, but you wouldn't have done medicine? What would you have learned?
I didn't learn much of anything, really. I wasn't a very good student, but yeah, I went to my classes. I passed, I guess. I had a lot of friends, went to a lot of parties. I think, I guess my family name is perhaps some of the reason why I didn't get kicked out of Luskan University. My father wouldn't allow me to drag his name through the dirt, have the shame of getting kicked out of university. So I think it was his doing that I made it to the end. But yeah, it was the adventuring life that I took to rather than the academic side.
Doesn't sound particularly like you had the good experience. What did you even graduate with?
A lot of friends.
That's nice.
I'm really curious as to the actual degree as well now.
I need to know.
I don't know. Maybe he was there on a like a football scholarship.
Lacrosse scholarship.
Yeah, it was like, what is it, like Bachelor of Communications or
Yeah.
something like that, and then he just played a whole bunch of like football.
You have like so many credits in a foreign language you can't speak.
Yeah. I took Celestial, but I already knew it. I just pretended that I didn't.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Advanced language studies.
That's me.
So a highly semi-educated man? I don't.
I mean,
a waste of time.
educated adjacent, I would say.
Sveta's having trouble, comprehending that. Well, I'm very glad you met up with Kendrick and about his passing. I was surprised that you didn't want to take up the mantle of Speaker of Goodmead, or whatever's left of it, but I can understand your decision not to.
Well, I mean, I'm not from here. I thought you might want to step up.
No, definitely not.
Why not? I think it'd be good. You saved all of them. They like, we're heroes to them now. You're from there, you know the area, you know the people.
That's true, but I was just the town whittler. I don't think I have the qualifications to lead. I can barely talk to you guys sometimes. Plus, you and Horacio have already promised to take me below the spine. So I want to go there instead. Don't want to stay in the 10 towns, or 8 towns.
Oh,
It's 7 depending on how East Haven's doing.
It's true.
7.5.
7.5 town.
Yeah, no, the leading life is not for me.
Fair enough. But I mean, you've met Olivessa. I mean, she's great and everything, but I wouldn't say she's much of a leader.
Why not?
Just a bit of a pushover, I think.
She is a little bit, but sometimes you... actually, no, that's terrible for a leader.
What makes you think she's a pushover?
I don't know, she was like the second preference after Shanda. She's probably more level-headed, but she's not a leader. She's not like a people person.
She
Really?
didn't seem like a woman of the people to me. People did look up to her.
She literally led the people out of the town and saved them all.
I guess that's true. I think you could do a good job, Svieta.
We'll see how we go. If Goodmead is holding any kind of election that we're there in time for, maybe I might toss my hat in there, but I want to go on the vacation first.
Well, I hear Luskin's pretty rainy, so don't go there, maybe.
I thought it was all nice sails in the wind.
I thought so too,
Why
but
would you-
apparently I read the wrong source book.
I know where you want to go.
Where?
You want to go to Neverwinter.
Do I?
That sounds
That
even
name
colder.
is not a mistake.
Really?
It's like actually really nice there all year round.
That would be really good. Neverwinter, I like it.
For context, Luskin does have its sunny days. It's just often stormy by the sea.
Often not.
I mean, Wodun is prone to lying, so...
Listen, the truth is whatever source book you read at that particular juncture.
yeah, true.
And Wodun is either lying or not by virtue of whatever canon we're following.
Let's just stick to 5e canon. Because I'm not familiar with much of the earlier stuff.
When you start talking about how you want to go south of the spine and all that, Horacio will turn around and... Because he was just staring out at the snow, looking all broody. He's going to turn back and say to you, well, yeah, I'd love to go back to Delusk. I'd love to take you there as well. I think I'd like to take all of you there. It's a very different climate from here.
Truthfully, what kind of climate?
Why did you have to preface that with truthfully?
Just look, I'm sorry.
It's
You're
like-
not prone to lying.
Delusk is actually one of the main cities on the lake in the Border Kingdoms. It's a very musical and very wealthy town. Lots of trade and lots of books. A lot of people actually come to the town in search of rare books. And that actually helped me do a lot of my studies in herbology and biology before, studying medicine. So I think you'd like it there.
Do you mean musical in a metaphorical or a literal sense?
What do you mean?
Like, is that like a slogan, or is there literally a lot of music?
There's a lot of music present in the city. Lots
Ah.
of bards, and they're highly regarded. I think you'd fit in quite nicely, Carnelian. Lots of money, lots of music. Your two favourite things.
I do like money.
So did Wodun at one point. It does sound nice to just have a book open and just look out onto a lake.
Yes, with a fiddler strumming.
Well, it has made me all the more excited to end the winter and further travels with you guys.
Yeah.
To further travels.
I have nothing to cheers with, but to further travels.
Me either. I got a whiz. He turns around and hikes his dress up.
Oh,
That is something
no.
you don't see every day.
Vellynne, can we slow the carts down? I'm trying to whiz, and my... I'm trying to stop my cockwomble.
The what?
My cockwomble.
What the fuck is a cockwomble?
It's when you're trying to pee off a bouncy sled.
Why do you know this terminology?
I've done it a few times.
You're disgusting.
And so, as you are travelling, you do eventually, after many stops and many cockwombling around, you do manage to pass Bremen, which is the last town that you'll see now before you head out into the Dale itself. The going becomes a little bit slower, but given that the trail was already mostly lost, it's not that much slower than it was. You travel now for the rest of the day without too much problem. You know you've got a couple of days of hard travel in front of you, and it's starting to get dark. It looks like our day's journey is coming to an end. Do you want to stop? Calls Vellynne from the other cart.
I thought that was Skeen for half a second. I was like, Jesus Christ, how did he find us?
I'm in your cart as well!
Hit the eject.
Yes, I think it's best we stop.
Well, any suggestions?
You said you had some spells to keep us safe. Do we need to, like, be in the tree line? Is there... I can't really see much. Is there a tree line?
No, mostly out here it is plains and hills, like rolling plains and hills. You don't see much in the way of forest cover.
Like,
So it probably doesn't matter if we're not too far off the road then.
we need to like set up like a lean-to against the wind again.
Oh, just like old times.
Oh.
There's no trail out here, although hunters and trappers will sometimes come this far north. We could keep going until we find someone's old camp.
We don't know if we'll come across anything before dark. It's a bit of a risk.
Right you are. Shall we just stop?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, make a survival check.
Shift.
Anyone who is
I'll
wanting to...
assist someone.
I'm just gonna shift.
Yep.
I am proficient. These dice.
What did I get?
Oh.
14.
Roll with advantage. I'll assist you.
Woo! That's better.
Did you...
I did, and I got 14.
14. Okay, so that's ratio.
22.
22 for Svieta.
Also 22.
22. Okay.
Sick.
What I will say is, at the mention of an old campsite, two things happen. For Svieta, you sniffing the wind with your nose, like your heightened senses and all, and on the wind you detect a little bit of like wood smoke. Wodun, in the dying light on just not too far away, maybe off to your left somewhere, you see a very thin column of smoke. So you can identify, it looks like someone has set up camp not far away from where you are.
Do you smell that?
I can't smell anything, but I think I can see what you can smell.
It's a camp nearby.
Maybe we should pull up
Just a little
a while away from it and check it out.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good.
You pull up a little bit short, and you tell Vellynne to hold still with the carts.
Yes.
And so you proceed on foot, and in about 5 minutes or so, you come into an area that looks like it's not surrounded by, it's not enclosed, but it's surrounded by small hills. It looks like it's sort of a little bit sheltered from the wind and weather. And you can see what looks like a tent that's been pitched, a ring of stones, and a fire going. And sitting just beside the fire, you can see what looks like the figure of a man in furs. And he looks up sort of as if he's heard something in your direction. And he smiles. And he says, "You'll have to come back next week on Reflex Save."
That's a weird thing to say.
A curious fellow.
Okay.
Vellynne, I have a question for you. Excuse me, it's very cold. Oh, I think I've got some snowstones in my throat.
Welcome to Frangature, a world dominated by a large continent broken into 4 nations. But we begin our journey in the eastern land of Alkiar, a nation of sand and dunes. It is there we find our 4 would-be heroes. Eustace, the duty-bound paladin.
You will rue the day, sir, when you die.
His estranged brother, Astrion, a sword for hire.
Well, I ain't no goddamn
that guy, but
The soul-bound twins, Albion.
We go find the girls in the town and we sneak out behind the town hall and we drink a little bit and touch the soft part of the inside of each other's elbows. You know what I'm saying?
And Dreg,
Aha! I've been tainted!
the twin dragons from the Tangwu Monastery. Join us and these four as we unfold the stories of this world.